Welcome to my ghost stories. True stories of Mitchum. Okay. My ghost stories. True stories of Mitchum. True stories of Mitchum. Mitchum Common, actually. Well, I've just done two little stories of the Georgian House and the Folly. This one I'm doing live streaming. So get ready for a very kind of, well, I don't know how long it's going to be, but there's stories I'm going to tell you about Mitchum Common. So yeah, I just need to share the link out. Give me a second or two. Right, post. Right, just give me a second. Right, so this one's live streaming. No, I'm not going to get many viewers watching, but I don't give a damn. It seems I'm not, you know, the last couple of days I'm losing a lot of viewers, but can't expect to keep getting too many viewers. You know, it's not really to do with viewers. Doesn't really matter if I've got one view. You know, at least someone's watching, and you know, people will watch this story later, I suppose. So, hey, let's say I'm doing some real stories on Mitchum regarding what's happened to me, myself, personally. And this one might be a little bit lengthy because I'm actually going to tell you several stories about Mitchum Common. There's going to be other stories I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be doing one, what is it, Stratton Common, Wimbledon Common, Hall Place, and maybe one or two other places that I've done in the past. So, Mitchum Common, is it haunted? Yeah, it definitely is haunted. What got me interested in Mitchum Common was, like, I was talking to someone a few years back regarding, like, you know, the paranormal, because I was actually fishing, and I said to him, like, you know, I like to do ghost hunting as well. Now, he told me a story about a little boy that was supposed to have drowned in the common, in the lake. So I decided, right, okay, I'm gonna, like, come back with some of my equipment and try and find out if I get anything. So I went over there with a K2 meter, a ghost box, and an audio recorder. And I was just generally walking around during the daytime, you know, thinking I might or might not get something. And, you know, I was asking, you know, if it's true that a little boy drowned in the lake, you know, so how and where, and, you know, how long ago, and is it true that, you know, the story of a man walking through the common late one night, early morning, saw this apparition of this little boy walking through the common? You know, just general questions I was asking. And, you know, I can't remember I actually played back the EVPs at the time, but I know I played them back when I got home. And it's surprising, you know, some of the EVPs I actually did capture. You know, I got Help Me, Hello, you know, Drowned, you know, Murder. You know, I've got a load of different EVPs coming through. So I'm thinking, well, you know, what else has been going on over common? So, you know, over the time I've gone back and I've done, like, other little sessions during the daytime, nighttime. And I've always wondered if there was a highwayman there, because, like, you know, in the early 17th, 18th century, there's supposed to be like highwaymen that travelled across the commons and done like a lot of hold-ups. You know, like stand and deliver your money or your life kind of thing, you know. And when I first started asking about, you know, the highwaymen, my K2 meter started going crazy. And I'm thinking, well, am I actually communicating with a spirit of a highwayman here? And when I asked that, you know, the K2 was going, you know, ballistic. It was hitting the red all the time after every question I asked. And I didn't think about, you know, doing EVPs because I might have my camcorder running at the time. So any EVPs I might have caught would have been on the camcorder. But I did do some EVPs later. And some EVPs were like fucking like, well, mind-blowing, fascinating. So I believe that there's a highwayman that sometimes follows me around when I'm doing like a investigation over on the common, whether it be daytime or nighttime. Now, I won't actually go over there on my own at nighttime because it is dark and spooky over there. You know, I have done some sessions over there with my nephew Aaron, several over there with him, a few with Simon James, and just recently, not long ago, last year, Steve Cooper, who does the Coop Box, came over and just done a quick 10-minute walkthrough with me. So he wanted to get back home because he had these kids to sort out and other kind of stuff. But over the last 3 years, you know, I must have done a good 20 investigations over there, you know, mostly daytime, but, you know, several nighttime ones as well. Every time my nephew comes over, we go over and do another session because there's been a lot of like deaths over there over the last few years. You know, Leonard, the little boy, Leonard, he died by drowning in the lake in, I think it's like 80 odd years ago now. And the first ever ghost story which was reported was a guy walking home across the common one day, and he saw this like white figure coming towards him, and he stood there, you know, kind of like shocked in amazement, wondering what the hell it was. And this little boy rode past him on a bright white bike and just kind of went onto the lake and disappeared. Now that's supposed to be Leonard, yeah. Now I've actually caught physical EVPs of asking what the little boy's name was, and it said Leonard. So, you know, that backs the story that a boy did die over the common. Now, someone could say, well, you know, hang on a minute, that could be Anna Leonard. Well, no, because I actually researched it, and there is documentation on Google where a little boy died in the lake. Now, the first story I heard, which was an incorrect story, but the story I first heard was that he was riding his bike down this long hillway, which is just near to the lake, and he couldn't stop, and he kind of just rode straight to the lake and drowned that way. But that ain't the real story. The real story is that he went over the common with some of his friends and his mother one day, you know, like 1920s or whatever year it was. And they was all like, you know, all the boys were in the lakes swimming. Except in them days, there were boats, you know, it was like class of the boat lake as well. And there used to be a structure there which ain't no longer there no more. But the boys were in the lake paddling around, and the story goes that they dared Leonard to swim across the lake. Now, Leonard wasn't a good swimmer, but, you know, he was with the boys and he wanted to be, you know, part of the group. So they all started swimming, but Leonard somehow got caught up. I don't know if it's the tidal wave, what might have been there at the time, you know, you get currents. Or he might have got caught up on weeds. But whatever happened, it dragged him down under the water, and he wasn't able to get back out. You know, his friends were like screaming and shouting. What the fuck was that? I saw a white figure then, I think. Might be just me, my eyes playing, man. They tried, calling his mum over. His mum couldn't get in there. She couldn't find him. There was a guy on the actual lake with a boat. What happened, like, other people were around and someone decided to go and run and call the police and the ambulance. I don't know if his mum or one of his friends ran over to the man with the boat and said, like, our friend's gone under, we can't find him. So the story goes that the guy rowed over to where Leonard was last seen, and he had like one of those boat hooks, and he had been like trying to hook him up for several minutes, and he couldn't find him. He couldn't find him whatsoever, and he's just about going to give up, and suddenly he hooks on something, and he pulls it, and it's Leonard's lifeless body. Now this is a true story. I promise you, this is a true story. So they pulled Leonard out, and by the time they got him out, an ambulance and the police came already, and they tried to revive him, but they couldn't revive him. Now, the story goes that Leonard haunts the lake, okay? Now, I don't know what happened to his parents. No, they probably died of old age later in life. I don't know if he had brothers and sisters, but there was an update on the story, which I'd never really took too much time reading, but I probably will do, because it is a good story, and it's a real true story about Leonard drowning in the lake. Now, every time we've gone over, I've always, when I've asked, like, if Leonard's around near me, can you light up my K2 meter? And the K2 meter's been lighting up. I've actually heard a little boy's voice saying Leonard when I've asked him what his name is. Even at night times, we've had some unusual kind of things happen, with the equipment. Like, K2's going crazy. When Simon James was over there, he was doing the laser grid experiment, and the laser grid kind of like got, the grid itself, it just like went as if something just went across it. And we was asking Leonard to manipulate the laser grid, and we believe he done it. Even when I was doing it with my nephew Aaron, we got EVPs, we had K2 hits, crazy stuff was happening. We could even hear things moving around in the bushes, and the only thing that would have probably made that was either something spiritual or an animal. And some of the times, like, you couldn't hear a branch snap. It's that quiet sometimes, but sometimes you hear like the odd rustling, someone's like walking through bushes or something. Could have been an animal, I don't know. Never had like a full spectrum camera at the time, but I did get one off eBay, and we tried using that and didn't really catch them much. But the time me and Simon was there, I was doing the prayer. I'd just been taking random photos, and as I was closing the prayer, Simon said, "How do you close a prayer?" And we was running the ghost box at the time, and you heard this like angelic voice coming saying, "Oh man," I can't do it to my throat, but it's like, "Oh man," angelic voice, and that's how you end a prayer in it. And we caught that on EVP, we caught it on video, so there's proof there that he was catching something. As I say, Aaron has done investigations with me over there, God knows how many times. Simon James has done it a few times. I'd like to get Simon down again, but he can't because he lives up north, and it's going to cost him £300 or £400 to come down here for a couple of days and go back home. Aaron's had an accident, so he can't drive for a while, so ain't there. But I'll be honest with you, we got a crap load of evidence that there was a boy over there by the name Leonard. And one day I just said, "Hey Leonard, if you want to come home with me, I've got spirits around, I've got spirit children. You want to follow me home, come home. You want to stay there, stay there. You can always come back anytime you want to." And I do believe he came over and he stayed here for a while, and he still does come and stay. Anytime he wants to go here, go over there. I don't need to give him permission. None of the spirits who are bound here, they got free will to come and go whenever they want. And I've done EVPs here, Well, I've even caught Leonard saying his name. We've caught, like, on camera when I've been taking photos in the mirror in the living room, a little boy standing near my doorway, living room doorway, which is either Dexter or Leonard. Now, Dexter is from a residential investigation, which I'm going to be doing probably later or tomorrow, because that's also classed as Mitchum. But Leonard ain't the only one who died over there. No. There's several people who died over there. There's a story that's floating around, but there's no real proof of the story because I can't find anything on research, that 2 females hung themselves on a tree because their family didn't like them having an affair because they were supposed to be lesbians. And they had enough with their families, so they said, well, you know, they can't accept us as who we are, then they're just going to go and commit suicide, and that's what they've done. They hung themselves on this tree. Now, me and Aaron, me and Simon, we've both gone over there. We've done EVPs, we've done like ghost box, we've done K2 meters, and we didn't really get much on that tree whatsoever. So that could just be a myth, a folktale, you know, a story that someone's made up. But there has been other deaths over there. A Polishman hung himself, and I've done like a session with my nephew, I think, and we asked if it's true that someone hung themselves, a Polishman, and we got like an EVP saying yes, true. And you know, I think we even got Polish come through the EVP as well, and through the ghost box. There's another story about a guy who told me that he used to walk through one of the pathways for the common here, and he could smell something like, you know, like decaying flesh. And this went on for several days, and it just got so like bad that he didn't want to go for that way anymore. So he decided to go through the common a different way. And even though he'd done that, you know, he didn't go through where that decomposing smell was. He went a different way. So only a few days later, someone else went that way where that decomposing flesh was. A man walking his dog, and the dogs picked up the scent. It ran over and started, like, you know, scratching at the floor like they normally do, and uncovered a decomposing woman. Now, I didn't know if that's true or not, but I researched it, and yeah, a decomposing female was found over at the common. How long it'd been there, no idea. If I could find out exactly what it was, I'd love to go and do like a little investigation there as well. You know, I've done like EVPs asking if it's true, and it said like true, yes, you know, dead woman, you know, kind of stuff, smells, and you know, you get all different kind of things coming through an EVP. And then not just too long ago, another man died. He took an overdose of like pills and alcohol, and he committed suicide. And this is even publicly known in the newspapers because I researched it, and yeah, it's true. And the thing was that we heard about it, and we went and tried to do an investigation over there one day. And although we, you know, got the odd hit on the K2 meter and a couple of EVPs, it wasn't like, how can I put it? We didn't get that much. You know, we thought we would have got more. But there's a time when I came home and I started doing like a Ouija board session, and this spirit came through, and he said that he was the one who committed suicide over the common. And the only reason why he didn't want to talk to me, because he didn't know how to speak into my recorder. It's only because like he came through, he followed me home, and Abby wanted me to, you know, to communicate with him. He was able to communicate, and he told me the reason why he committed suicide. And what it was that not long before then, about a year or so, his wife died, and you know, he just couldn't live without his wife. and he had a breakdown. They put him on medication, and the story goes that he said to his family he was going to go and stay at one of his friends' house for a couple of days, a female friend. But after a few days, they never heard from him, so they rang up his friends and they said, no, they ain't been here. And this guy used to, in the paper, he said that this guy used to like camp out on the common when he was younger, in his like schoolboy age, and even when he was growing up, he used to camp out sometimes. And what happened was that he, because he missed his wife so badly, he wanted to be with her, so he decided to take his life by taking overdose, and that's what he told me. Yeah, and he actually told me on the Ouija board that I wasn't too far from where he was. You know, where I thought he was, he said, if you just walk up the pathway about 50 yards, turn left, walk up about another 50 yards, there's a little clump of trees. That's where his body was found by two homeless people. Because the story goes that when he commits suicide, two homeless people were walking across the common. They saw something in the bushes. They went to investigate. And they saw it as a man. They thought he was sleeping. And they called out and got no response. So they went up and like tapped him, and he had no response. And they found out that he was dead. So they contacted the police, and that part was cornered off. Now, I actually did get told by him through the Ouija board where he was, so I went back and done an EVP, and I actually got some responses on EVP. I indicated to me it went off a couple of times, and what I'd done, I just put like a little cotton chain on the tree, on a tree where he may have like died. I don't know if it's still there or not, but I'll probably go and check it out sometime. I know where I put it, but animals, you know, birds might see something glittering and they might go and pick it up and take it to the nest. I don't know, but I know where I left it, and I'll go and check it out and see if it's still there. And after I'd done that, I came home and I said, like, you know, I hope that he's okay, you know, in spirit world. I hope he's crossed over, he's with his wife, and I hope he's actually happy with the cross and chain I left him. And Harry said, yeah, he's very happy. He wants to thank you for, you know, being there. And, you know, he didn't know that I didn't know the guy. You know, he was happy for me to be there. And he just wanted to say thank you. So, you know, common, I do believe, really is like active in some places. You've got the highwayman as well, which, as I say, I've heard some deep voices, deep musky voices, you know, kind of thing. And when I've asked, like, you know, about hidden gold or silver, you know, treasure, sometimes it came to me with light up, you know, kind of thing. And there is a tree there, which I class as a highwayman tree, because I always used to leave coins there. You know, penny, 2p, 5p, 10p, whatever coin I had in my pocket, I'd leave there. And every time I've gone back, it's gone, disappeared. But when I went back there a couple of times ago, I left a coin and I put a bit of dirt on it. And I went back and I tried digging around. I couldn't find it, so I put another one there. And I covered it up, left it. Went back a bit later, a few days, a week later, looked, couldn't find it. So I thought, well, either birds have probably seen it and picked it up, because, like, you know, birds will pick up shiny objects sometimes. Or some kids have been climbing the tree and they've probably seen it and picked it up and put it in their own pocket. Or maybe the spirit of the highwayman's found it and taken it away and put it with his rest of the, you know, gold and silver and treasures or whatever. But last time I went there, I got a stick and I started digging around, and I did actually find 2 coins that I left there previously before. So why that's still there, I don't know. Maybe you just don't want any more, like, recent coins. I've got no idea. But I do believe that that tree may have been the highwayman's tree, which possibly where him and a few other people may have got hung in them particular days, those ages. Because, like, you know, in the early 17th, 18th century, there used to be God knows how many highwaymen. That was the only way of living, you know, by holding up people and stealing their gold and silver and, you know, jewellery and all that kind of stuff. Even Dick Turpin used to go across those commons at one time. So, you know, there could be more than one tree there that hang or hung highwaymen. But there's several stories, you know, which are true about, you know, suicides. And, you know, we've been over there and done investigations, and every time we've done something, we've always got some kind of response on it. You know, some kind of like EVP reply, or K2 meters going crazy when they don't need to be going crazy. REM pods going off, ghost box replies, you know. We've always had something. And, you know, if you look under Mitchum Common, there's loads. Now, I even found over there one day a piano. Yeah, a piano. As you come into the common where the bus stop is, you walk about a couple of 100 yards, and to the left, I saw a piano sitting there. I thought, what? How the fuck did the piano get here? So I've gone over, and the piano's in good condition, just one or two broken keys, you know, but you can still like play the piano. So I was standing there thinking, what the, you know, how can a piano get here? And I saw this guy walking up the pathway, and he looked at me, I looked at him, he looked at the piano, and I looked at him, I said, crazy what you find on common there, isn't it? He goes, yeah, mate. I said, how the hell did that get here? And he walks up to me, goes, oh, I think what it was a couple of nights ago, some guys from across the road pulled the piano over, and, you know, there's quite a lot of them. They was having a good old piss up, you know, and there was someone playing a piano there. And, you know, anyone walking through the common that particular night would have thought it was like probably ghostly, or, you know, kind of thing, or wondering what the hell was going on. So he said, yeah, like, you know, if someone's brought it over and they've just left it and they ain't taking it back, kind of thing. So I thought, well, that's crazy. So I went back there a day or two later with the K2 meter, EMF meter, ghost box, fucking audio recorder, and I was doing a session, and I was getting hits on the K2 meter, and, you know, EVPs I was getting on as well, EVPs. So I'd done it for a little while, and as I'm standing there, it felt like something was being thrown at me, but not actually thrown to hit me, but thrown to, like, distract my attention. And there weren't no like conkers or nuts or anything on the trees. It's just like trees. And there weren't no squirrels that I could see around, you know, like running around and breaking the branch and the branch falling in, because it actually felt like whatever was thrown in my foot. And I'm trying to turn around and thinking, what the hell's going on here? And it did feel a bit kind of like spooky, you know. It was like kind of like, should I be here? You know, what the fuck's going on? Maybe like they used the piano to conjure up some kind of like entity or something, you know, something demonic. But anyway, I started to walk off, and I found this big kind of like clay Chinese character. I thought, what the fuck is this? And I actually brought it home. I did bring it home. And as I got it home, the head fell off because it's damp around the neck. But I super glued it on, and I'd done a session on it, and that had a spirit attached to it, a male spirit. And I said, are you anything to do with the actual piano? He said, yeah, that's my wife's. You know, my wife used to do piano lessons because I was doing a Ouija board. And they took the piano over because they didn't want it anymore. They just ditched it there. They'd done what they wanted to do and left it there. So I was saying, well, you're attached to this like clay Chinese figure. You know, did you make this? And he said, yeah, we made it. I made it. I used to like have a hobby where I made ornaments, and some of them were a bit kind of like weird. But my wife actually done like piano lessons. So I said, well, do I need to go back and get anything from the piano? He goes, yeah, get a key if you can. So I went back a few days later, and there was a broken key. So I took the key and a piece of like the wood side of the piano, which was already broken off, and brought that back. And that's actually next to the actual Chinese statue thing. It's just like, you know, it looks like a bloody snowman in one way, but like with Chinese eyes. Now, eventually the piano was actually taken away, I suppose, from the council or someone, because it ain't there no more. But, you know, to get EVPs and K2 hits off a piano, which was dumped on the common, was really weird. And I didn't find no, like, news or articles or nothing about it. So, you know, the spirit on this kind of like homemade ornament and, you know, the one for the piano, it's just like stories from spirit, you know. And apparently they used to live in a house just opposite the common as well, these two spirit people. And the woman had been doing like piano lessons for about 30 years, I think, something like that. So, you know, even if you didn't die on a common, I reckon if someone was attached to something and they got removed from their home and put on a common, the spirit follows that item because they're attached to that particular item. So, you know, spirit-wise, I probably might have spoken to about 8 or 10 spirits over there. Now, how many other people might have been found dead or murdered or suicide over there, I don't know, but there are other stories of other people dying over there. How many, I wouldn't like to say, but, you know, you hear something new each day when you go over there. Me and Aaron was going over there to do an investigation one day, and a mist just appeared from nowhere, this blanket of mist. And it kind of turned into like a fog, and it looked like the fog was actually following us in pace. And when we started questioning about it, it kind of suddenly like started dissipating, like going away from us, you know, and from like a mist to a fog, from a fog to a mist, and just disappears. Really weird. Couldn't understand what made it happen, what caused it. Could have been spiritual, supernatural, no idea. It was really weird. But I think the best one was me and Simon James, though, when we had that one with Leonard, when Simon was doing that laser grid experiment. He said, can you like break the barrier, the laser beam, and it got broken. And we had that on video. And then the same night, you know, my batteries were running low on the camera, so we decided to come home, charge them up a bit, and go back, which we did do. And when we was finishing off, you know, we was doing a ghost box session, and Simon said, how do you finish a prayer? And the ghost box said, oh man, in a, like, you know, in a kind of singing voice. And we both heard it, and it's crazy, you know, to get that response after Simon asked a direct question. And where I was taking random photos, great big beam of light came out from a lake, as if like maybe I was passing spirits on into this kind of like beam of light. I can't say if it's, you know, if that's what it was, but there weren't no helicopters, no planes, no other kind of lights around us. We was in the common, pitch black, and I'm just taking random photos, and you see this great big beam of light coming out from the lake, going up, which was really weird. And that's on photo. And I didn't even see it with my own eyes, you know. The thing was, like, it didn't just catch you on camera, it caught you on video as well. And I was just panning the camera around, which was, like, some really weird things happen on that common. But what I've noticed with the commons around here, it's kind of really unusual, really strange. Like, Mitchum Common is known for like deaths, you know, more suicides or accidental deaths. That's Mitcham Common. Wimbledon Common is known for more murders, attacks, that kind of death. Stretton Common is known for like robbery, possibly stuff from the past, you know, because me and Aaron went there and we was down at the tennis courts and we caught like an apparition walking through the actual, what we can understand, it walks through the fence, it goes to the gate and goes out the gate. All we had to do is walk down and around, but it didn't. It kind of cut through like an angle. So what it might have been now in the olden days, I do not know. And I think it was the same night at Stratton Common, where I was walking down this great big like pathway, and we could hear like things rustling around and stuff like that. But Aaron swears there's something snapped right beside him. He ran down this bloody great big long pathway, and I chased after him with like several items in my hand, and I was trying to make sure I wouldn't lose any of the items because I standing there on my own kind of thing. If something was behind us and trying to attack us or something. But Stratton Common, kind of an unusual place, you know. I've had some really unusual K2 hits there, you know, EVPs. Me and Simon done a video called The Scare, which I'm dressed up as Slender Man and I'm chasing Simon around. But Wimbledon Common's going to be another story. Bexley's going to be a couple of different stories regarding a few things, and then there'll probably be the ghost story on Puckley Village. Then I might do a few more residential ones. So, oh, he's here watching. Fuck yeah, I did. Yeah, you see, there you are. He put there proof that snake snapped beside him and he ran like a girl. Ah! Well, if you fucking heard it, you'd fucking run. Well, I heard a snap, but it wasn't next to me, it was next to him. You know, he can back me up that we caught that, like, it looked like a manifestation of someone walking through the tennis court. You know, it looked like it come through the fence and then down to the gate and disappears through the gate. That's Stratton Common. Yeah, I'll be glad when he starts driving again because there's a few new locations that we need to be doing. Now, I've got the key. I've got the key to a certain park. Well, I'm hoping to do some magnet fishing, but I've got to get permission. But if the key opens that main gate to that park, we've got to fucking go there because I've been there before during the daytime and I caught EVPs and K2 hits, and it is one big massive park, I tell you, man. Massive. It's like a common and a park, and it's got structural buildings. It's also got like a lake there. It is crazy ass. And I've actually went over to Bemington not long ago because I was going to do the River Wander in Bemington. It's not far from me. It's probably about a 10-minute drive, 15-minute max. And there's fucking stuff that's happened at Bemington. Some crazy shit, man. Like, you know, the dark shadow figure. There's one where a guy was walking along and he saw like an apparition of looked like a Roman soldier or something, yeah, standing there with his spear. And this was like in his childhood days, and you know, he's gone back there and all different weird things have happened, you know, in that location. So Bemington Park, this new location, if I can get like permission to go there during the night time, that's going to be crazy. We got to do Clapham Common. Got to do Clapham Common. There's definitely shit over there. But the thing is, Clapham Common, there's, you know, there tend to be like a lot of have in the past been a lot of muggings, robberies, and if you go where the actual structural build, it's like a big kind of dome thing near the cafeteria. I won't go there because there's over there, a lot of gays and prostitutes go over that area, so you won't go that area. But yeah, Clapham Common has had some really weird things happen over there. Especially deaths, murders, and stuff. Because it was only just recently, not long ago, that I went over there, and someone tried committing suicide. So I didn't go there for some reason. So I was doing the actual boating lake, and then I thought, well, I'm going to go over to the big main lake, but Saint stopped me, and I went to the little fishing lake. Now, if I hadn't stopped at that fishing lake, I would have carried on, and I would have probably walked past the person who was trying to commit suicide by hanging himself. It's only that I stopped and stayed there about an hour. When I did leave there, started going over to the bigger lake to check out there. I saw that the place was cornered off a part of common where someone tried to hang himself, and it was only because of a dog walker, and the dog ran in and started barking. The dog walker went in to see what's going on and saw this guy hanging there, and luckily they was able to get him down and revive him. There's we got to go over the Windmill Common and do that windmill. We tried doing the windmill session like me and Simon done, but we went a different way and we got completely fucking lost. We couldn't even find a damn thing. So next time we go there, we're going to go the way that I know this time, and we're definitely going to fucking get there. And when we finish, we've got to go back the way we come. What else is there? There's a little park near me, which I did not long ago, and I just felt like it'd be okay for me to go out and do like 2 little parks near to me. Not the recreation one where we got those high EMF ones, not that one, but 2 other ones. First one I didn't get nothing, but the second one, when I went there, I was walking around the long pathway, whistle. And there weren't no one there with no dog or nothing, because I called out, anyone there? Got nothing. And then when I came home, I'd done a little session, and I said, yeah, it's a man that, saw you and whistled to get your attention, and he followed you home, but he doesn't want to stay. He just wanted to follow you home, see what you was doing, and then come back. So that little park might have a nature spirit person there. There's a park just down the road from me, where apparently the story goes that a little girl fell off a climbing frame and banged her head and died. And because her father loved her so much, he committed suicide, and that park's supposed to be haunted by a father and daughter. Now, we've had a little bit of activity there, you see. There's 2 haunted houses across the road to me, and they're gone. They're being renovated. It's like a big car park's going to be there, multi-story car park, and a block of flats. How long that's going to be until it's completed? Maybe end of the year, beginning of the year, before people start moving in. We need to go and just walk around there and do some photos and leave you, please. What else is there? There's a few locations that we need to go and do once you start getting to be able to drive. Kids are good. They can be fun. Kids can be mischievous, and that's what you want, some mischievous activity. That's right, January, start a new year. I did do a session earlier regarding the Georgian house. That's on my last video. So I'm doing like little ghost stories, you know, telling people the things that happened while I've been doing a paranormal. Like in the Georgian house where I felt like someone touched me and I thought it was you, and you said it weren't you. I'm going to be doing the one on, what's the name, the Hall Place. I did do one earlier on the Hall Place, but I didn't like it, so I deleted it. But Hall Place is one of the temporary accommodations opposite the Georgian house that we've done. Then there's the churchyard, the graveyard, that I've done a couple of times. Then I've done it with Aaron, which is also on the same road as the Georgian house and Hall Place. Do a little story on that one. There's a church we went to. I can't remember who it was. It's about a 20-minute drive. Remember that time we went down to that church and we was doing like a walk-around investigation, and suddenly an alarm went fucking off, and we can't figure out what the alarm, why it went off, you know, kind of thing. It wasn't like just a motion sensor alarm, I don't think, because when we walked around it, the lights would go off because of the motion sensor lights. But what made the alarm go off, we do not know. And that kind of like started us, because like we thought, well, the alarm's going off, the police are going to come. If the police sees us, they think that we're trying to break in or something, so we had to stop and move on. But whatever that made that go off, I've got no idea. But there's a few new locations we can go and do. Park, common, 2 commons, couple of parks. The river. No, where no, you don't know it, but there's a big kind of like, I don't know if it's Victorian or Georgian house, but you have to walk quite a way to get there. You can probably do the grounds, but you can't actually go, you know, you could probably go up to the house itself, but you know, it's going to have motion sensors and probably like alarms and stuff like that. But there's supposed to be like stories of the grounds being haunted as well, so you know, do a little bit on the grounds. Just trying to think. I've got a headache right now. No, I'm going to end this stream. I'm going to start a new one. Yeah, I'm going to just think about what location we go to, because this one's just like horror stories or ghost stories. So I'm going to close this one. I'll open another one up in a few minutes. All right, catch you in a minute.